Hello, 8th grade. Let's talk about pronouns. First of all, the definition. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. He instead of Jackson. She instead of Sarah. They instead of 8th graders. Those are nouns that are taken the place of by a pronoun. The pronoun he takes the place of Jackson. The pronoun she takes the place of Sarah. The pronoun they takes the place of 7th grade or 8th graders. It's not tough if you ask me, but I mean, just think they're like even more common than common nouns. You know, there's common nouns and then there's what's that word? There's common nouns, and then there's, oh, it's too late at night for this. Proper nouns, excuse me. There's common nouns and there's proper nouns. Well, these are even more common than common nouns. You know, the boys is a common noun. Jackson and Lorenzo would be proper nouns for the boys. They could replace both of those, the boys or Jackson and Lorenzo. That's your pronoun. An antecedent is the word that the pronoun stands for. So Lorenzo would be the antecedent for he. Lorenzo is a nice young man. He always smells like hot Cheetos. He is the pronoun. Lorenzo is the antecedent. Sarah is a girl. She has blonde hair. Sarah is the antecedent for she, the pronoun. There are lots of different kinds of pronouns. Personal pronouns refer to the speaker. I, me, we, us, my, mine, our, ours, or the person spoken to. You, your, yours, or the person spoken about. He, she, it, they, him, her, them, his, hers, its, their, and theirs. Those are personal pronouns. Remember, they refer to the speaker, the person spoken to, or the person spoken about. Then there's interrogative pronouns. They're used to ask a question. Who ate all the pizza? That's asking a question. Who? And we could even answer it. Roger ate all the pizza. Who? Roger. So the antecedent would be the thing that the pronoun's referring to, Roger. The pronoun would be who. Whose cat is that? That is Tracy's cat. Whose doesn't refer to the cat, it refers to Tracy. Tracy is the antecedent, whose is the pronoun. Then there's demonstrative pronouns. They point out the thing or thing that is being referred to. That dog smells bad. That is the pronoun and dog is the antecedent. This is funny. What are they referring to? Mr. E when he's on one of his I'm not funny. I'm hilarious. No. This is funny. Maybe they're looking at a misprint on a dollar bill. So what would be the this? This is funny. The misprint is your antecedent and this is your pronoun. Then there's indefinite pronouns. They do not definitely point out persons or things and do not usually have antecedents. This is a tough one. They don't usually have antecedents. Each of the questions is wrong. Well, actually it would be each of the answers is wrong for the questions and answers. Actually, that time would be the antecedent. But those are tough ones. Indefinite pronouns are tough, and we're going to talk about it more later. Then there's compound pronouns. Myself, that's two pronouns together. Mine and self. Ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, oneself, or themselves. Remember, that's super easy to find a compound pronoun. If I say look for a compound pronoun in a sentence, think of the word self. Jackson likes to play Xbox all by himself. Jackson's the antecedent. Himself is the what kind of pronoun? Compound. Then there are relative pronouns. Pronouns used to introduce dependent clauses. Now those are tough. Who, whom, whose, which, or that. Remember, who, whom, whose, which, and that are also interrogative pronouns. So relative pronouns and interrogative pronouns are much the same, but they are used to introduce dependent clauses. And we'll talk more about that some other time. Let's move on. How do you make verbs agree with pronoun subjects? Number one, you're going to have to memorize some pronouns, but pronouns are easy to pick out of a sentence once you understand what they're doing. You know, they're talking about a noun without specifically using that proper noun or even that common noun. But they're referring back to a noun. These are like the super common nouns. These indefinite pronouns are singular and take on a singular verb. Each, either, neither, one, everyone, everybody, no one, nobody, anyone, anybody, someone, somebody. Each of the doctors has seen a patient. Each of the doctors have seen a patient or has seen a patient. It's has, because each is singular. Everyone in the class is studying. Is your verb, and it agrees with everyone. Everyone in the class be studying? No, they is studying. Everyone in the class are studying? No, it's is studying, because it's singular. It's referring to a group of multiple people, but one specific group. So everyone, a singular everyone, it's a collective, is studying. Not are studying, but is studying. Neither of the roads was open. That's referring to a singular thing. That's referring to a plural thing. Because neither is talking about two things, and was is first person plural or third person plural for the verb to be. I think that's how it works. That one I'm a little sketchy on. So these indefinite pronouns. Okay, so was is actually singular. I'm sorry. Let's scoot back a little bit. Neither of the roads was open. Neither is talking about one road or another road, so it's singular, and it was open. Was is singular. But some indefinite pronouns are plural and take on a plural verb. Both of the dogs are collies or were collies. Are is singular, were is plural. Both of the dogs were collies. No, wait, that's wrong too. Are is present and were is past, but both of them are plural. Both of the dogs were collies. Not both of the dogs is collies, that's singular. Both the dogs are collies or were collies fits because those are plural. Many of the tourists are wearing straw hats. It's not many of the tourists is wearing straw hats. It's are wearing straw hats because are is plural. That means there's more than one of them. Some indefinite pronouns may be singular or plural. Some, any, none, all, most. Those could be singular or plural. None of the grass has been mowed. That's singular. Because it's referring to the grass as one thing, and we're talking about none of it. So one of the grass or none of the grass, it's all the same. None of it has been mowed. None of the pies have been sampled. What's that referring back to? None is referring to the antecedent pies. Pies is plural, so the verb have is plural. Most of the concert was enjoyable. Concert is the antecedent. That's what most of is referring back to. Most of the concert. That's a one thing, a concert. Was enjoyable. Past, singular. Was is past, but it's also a singular verb. Most of the players were friendly. Most is now referring back to players, and players is plural, so most of the players were friendly. Were is a plural form of the verb to be in the past tense. I know that it's confusing. We're going to try to talk about this in a FaceTime, hopefully either tomorrow, or actually today, since you'll be watching this on Wednesday, maybe this afternoon, or tomorrow, Thursday, or as late as Friday, but we're going to work on this together. How do you make verbs agree with pronoun subjects? Doesn't, isn't, wasn't are singular. Don't, aren't, and weren't are plural. Incorrect. She doesn't speak Spanish. Wait, that is correct. You guys are paying better attention than I am. She don't speak Spanish. That is using a plural verb, or plural pronoun, for a singular antecedent, she. She doesn't, she don't. Plural verb for a singular pronoun, she. Plural verb for a singular pronoun, she, which doesn't work. Does not work. How about this one, though? She doesn't speak Spanish. Doesn't is singular. I just said that. It's on page 167, number 4. Doesn't is singular. She is singular. She is a pronoun. Doesn't is a verb. Doesn't is a singular verb. And that means that with the singular pronoun, it needs a singular verb. She doesn't speak Spanish. How about they? Is it doesn't or don't? Doesn't is singular. Don't is plural. What kind of pronoun is they? Singular or plural? They is plural. There's more than one thing when you're referring to something as they. So it should be a plural verb. Don't, not doesn't. Don't. Doesn't is singular, don't is plural. They don't speak Spanish. The verb agrees with the subject, not the predicate nominative. Remember, the predicate nominative is in the second half of the sentence. The subject's in the first half of the sentence. Let's do not be confused by a predicate nominative that differs in number from the subject. One of his financial enterprises is his farms. What's the predicate nominative? His farms. What is the subject? Financial enterprises. The predicate nominative farms is plural, but that has no effect on the subject-verb agreement. One is your pronoun, so one of his financial enterprises is your antecedent, not his farms. Financial enterprises is the antecedent. And one has to be singular, and is the singular verb. So if I said one of his financial enterprises is his farms, even though farms is plural, we go back to one of his financial enterprises. One is obviously a singular thing. One of his financial enterprises is singular, so is the verb is singular. If I said one of his financial enterprises are his farms, that does not fit because are is plural. So is singular, are is plural, and are has to agree with the subject, the pronoun and its antecedent, and not the predicate nominative. The pronoun and the antecedent, one of his financial enterprises. The predicate nominative, his farms. Notice, one of his financial enterprises is singular, his farms is plural. So it has to agree with the noun. Here's another one. Would it be he don't or he doesn't permit his students to loaf during study hall? He is singular, so it would be the singular verb doesn't, not the plural verb don't. Let's move down to another one. They wasn't or weren't ashamed to pass out tracts at the airport. Wasn't is singular, weren't is plural. What's the pronoun? The pronoun is they. That's a plural pronoun. It's talking about more than one thing. Plural, more than one thing. So they weren't, because weren't is a plural verb. I know that you guys can get this because you're very smart. Even you, Lorenzo, are super smart. Okay, I shouldn't be making jokes about Lorenzo not being super smart. You are super smart. And the best part about Lorenzo is he works super hard. And doesn't give up when he gets confused. Now here's the toughie. Here's the one that really mixed us up when it came to our work. Is making pronouns agree with their antecedents. 5 more minutes and we should be done here, folks. A pronoun must agree with its antecedent in number. If the antecedent is singular, the pronoun referring to it must be singular. If the antecedent is plural, the pronoun referring to it must be plural. So if I said Jackson and Lorenzo ate fish sticks for lunch, and then I followed it up with he thought they were tasty, that's wrong. It doesn't fit because he is singular and we need a plural antecedent because we're talking about Jackson and Lorenzo together, and that's two things. Jackson and Lorenzo ate fish sticks for lunch. They thought they were tasty. They is a plural pronoun and it refers back to plural antecedent. How about the girls brushed their hair after gym class? Would it be they looked pretty or she looked pretty? Obviously it would be they looked pretty because the they is referring back to the girls. Not one girl. If I'd said a girl brushed her hair after gym class, she looked pretty would fit. But because that's singular a girl and singular she. But we're talking about the girls, so it plural, and that would be they plural. Use singular pronouns to refer to the singular indefinite pronouns. Each, either, neither, one, everyone, everybody, no one, nobody, anyone, anybody, someone, somebody. Each of the players bought their own jersey is incorrect because each is talking about one. So each of the players bought his own jersey. Not their, which is plural, but it would be his because each is singular. And although that's an indefinite pronoun, so it doesn't have an antecedent, it's going to another pronoun, his own jersey, not their own jersey. If it was their own jerseys, that might sound a little bit better, but it's very confusing, I know. Each of the players bought his own jersey. Not their own jersey, his own jersey, because theirs plural and his is singular. Each is singular. Use plural pronouns to refer to plural indefinite pronouns. Both, few, several, many. Both were within their boundaries. Both is plural, there is plural. Each was within his boundaries. Each is singular, his is singular. Both were in their boundaries. Both is plural, there is plural. The indefinite pronouns some, any, none, all, and most may be referred to by singular or plural pronouns depending on the sense of the sentence. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is tough stuff. Some, any, none, all, and most may be referred to by singular or plural pronouns depending on the sense of the sentence. Some of the wooden chairs have lost their luster. Would it sound right to say some of the wooden chairs have lost its luster? No, the sense of the sentence is plural, so some of the wooden chairs have lost their luster. Some of the carpet has lost its nap. Nap is, what makes a carpet look nice. Some, and gives it that fluffy texture or soft texture. So some of the carpet has lost its nap. Nap is one thing. Carpet is one. Even though it's a lot of carpet, it's still referring to one carpet. So it would be a singular pronoun. Some of the carpet has lost its nap. Not their nap, its nap. Pronouns that refer to common or compound antecedents joined by and are usually plural. We talked about this earlier. Hobo and Lobo make their own beds at night. Or in the morning, I guess. Paige and Stephanie make their own clothes. Paige and Stephanie are compound antecedents. That's two antecedents together. So they get referred to with a plural pronoun. A plural pronoun because it's referring to two things. The television and the Xbox sat on their bed. That's not a very good example. The computer and the iPad use their own cords. Their cords. There is plural. Computer and iPad may be singular alone. The computer uses its own cord. The iPad uses its own cord. The computer and the iPad use their plural own cords. Pronouns that refer to compound antecedents joined by or nor usually agree with the nearer antecedent. Neither Juan nor his buddies brought their flashlights. Okay? Neither Juan nor his buddies, neither and nor are those conjunctions, neither and nor, but Juan and his buddies brought their flashlights. Why is it their flashlights instead of his flashlights? Because it refers to the closer antecedent. The antecedents are Juan and his buddies. Juan is singular, but his buddies are plural, and it's closer to the pronoun their than Juan is, so it gets to be plural also. How about if you switch it around, though? Neither his buddies nor Juan brought his flashlight. Since Juan is closer to the pronoun his, it's a singular pronoun. Neither his buddies nor Juan brought his flashlight. That's awkward, and you obviously wouldn't typically use it that way. You would always say Juan and his buddies and make it a plural one, but you need to refer to the closer pronoun in that, or the closer antecedent for singular or plural in that situation. Antecedents of masculine gender are referred to by he, him, and his. That's easy. You wouldn't say Jackson put on her dress, or Jackson put on her shoes, because Jackson's not a her. Jackson's a he. Right? Everybody knows that Jackson's a boy. Sarah put on his shirt. That would make you think that Sarah was wearing some boy's shirt. And what we're trying to say is Sarah put on her shirt because she's feminine in gender. Antecedents of no sex or neuter gender are referred to by it or its. The tree lost all of its leaves. The television lost all of its color. Those are referred to by it or its because it and its don't carry a gender. You wouldn't say the television lost all of his color. You wouldn't say the tree lost all of her leaves because those don't have gender. Now, some things are referred to with gender, like boats. Most boats are referred to with female gender. So the Santa Maria broke one of her sails. See, and so it would be referred to as a female gender. So some things are male or female, and those get picky and specific later, but something without a gender. The chair broke its leg when the fat guy sat on it. It's not the chair broke his leg when Fatty Fatkin sat on it. It's the chair broke its leg because the chair isn't a boy or a girl. The chair is neuter in gender. What about common gender, where you don't know what the sex is? Well, then you refer to him with male pronouns, he, him, or his. Each speaker maintained his poise. Well, there could be 17 speakers, but we don't know if they're boy or girl, so we refer to them with male gender. The athlete played his game. We don't know if it's male or female at this point, so we refer to it as a male. Now, if we know that the athlete is a girl, then we can refer to it as a girl. That's no problem. How about the soup smelled, or the soup, no, that's a bad example. How about the dog? No, that's another bad example. How about each speaker maintained their poise? That's incorrect. It's not a neutral gender. It is a male gender because it's common. We don't know if it's male or female, and it's not neutral. It's either male or female, but we don't know which one it is, so we refer to it as male. And that's just a generic thing. Don't get offended, Sarah. It's just a generic thing. And it would sound really weird if we used a female gender for it. Each speaker maintained her poise. Unless we know that all the speakers are females, it just sounds awkward. It's just not the way we've done it or do it. I don't make these rules, but, that's the way we've spoken for years, so it should feel a lot more comfortable using the male gender. Antecedents that are names of animals are generally referred to by neuter pronouns. The goat ate its tin cans. Its refers back to the goat. It's a neuter gender, so you use it or its. The tiger paced back and forth in its cage. If you don't know that the tiger is a female, like if we'd said the lioness hunted for its prey, that's wrong. The lioness, that's female, hunted for her prey. But if we say the lions hunted for prey, their prey, that's neuter in gender. We use the neuter pronoun. We don't say the lion hunted for his prey. We say the lion hunted for its prey. So if you talk about an animal that you know specifically is male or female, then you can refer to it with a male or female pronoun. But if not, you refer to it with a neuter pronoun if you don't know for sure what it is. The pigeons ate their bird feed. Not the pigeons ate his bird seed. The pigeons ate their bird seed. The pigeon ate its bird seed. Not his bird seed, its bird seed. The chicken ate her bird seed because chicken refers to a female and rooster refers to a male. The rooster ate its corn. So that's a toughie, but, we can work through it. We just have to remember the rules. And you can always, especially during this time of year, refer back to your book to check the rules. Don't get lazy. Take the time. Look back at the rules. So let's try a couple of these. Each girl bought their or her own cheerleading outfit. It says each girl's the antecedent, so it would be her cheerleading outfit, not their. Their is neutral in gender, her is female. Everyone was doing his part, or everyone was doing their part to help the new family get settled. Well, let's think back on that. Shouldn't it be their part? Because it's his part. Because the sex is not known for everyone. It's a common gender, so we refer to it as masculine. Everyone is doing his part. How about Peter should have kept his eyes on Jesus or her eyes on Jesus? Peter is male, so it would be his eyes on Jesus. Elephants use his trunks to lift large trees or their trunks to lift large trees? Elephants use their trunks because it's neuter in gender when referring to an animal, especially if you don't know the sex of the animal. Somebody forgot to turn off his or their headlights, and his or their battery is now dead. Somebody forgot to turn off their headlights, and their battery is now dead. That sounds right, doesn't it? Well, it's not, because it's a common gender. We don't know if somebody is a male or female, so you refer to it with a male gender, his. Somebody forgot to turn off his headlights, and his battery is now dead. Neither Jada nor Jana knew the consequences of her mistake. Why isn't it their mistake? Because we're using, if we'd said Jada and Jana knew the consequences of her or their mistake, we're saying Jada and Jana. The and would mean we would use a plural. Jada and Jana knew the consequences of their, plural, mistake. But since we're using the nor, look back to rule letter E on page 168. Pronouns that refer to common antecedents joined by or nor agree with the nearer antecedent. Neither Jada nor Jana knew the consequences of her mistake because Jana is the nearer antecedent, so we refer to it as a her because it's a female, and we refer to it as her instead of their because Jana is singular. They're using the word nor, so we go back to the closer antecedent, which is Jana, singular, her. That's enough for today. We'll meet up on FaceTime soon. I miss you guys. Be good.